Hey everybody, it's Tommy Jackson with yet another Mordheim City of the Damned early access video. We are into Phase 7. The last phase introduced a couple more features and maps, and a ton of balance changes. Anyway, this I figured was going to be a good map to show everybody. I'm playing the Skaven, which I haven't shown in a while, I believe, and I'm taking a mixed warband. One of the things people have been complaining about lately is impressives and the light heroes, the youngling class, knight runners, augurs, things like that. So I've just been playing warbands using characters like that as much as possible in an attempt to get a little bit of an idea of balance. And they're not as bad as everyone makes out. In fact, in the next patch, we're actually going to see a buff to the impressives. They're going to be a lot tougher to stop. They're going to get buffs to their stun resist. They're going to get a little extra armor and things of that nature to make them just a little bit more impressive. But this is before all that happened. Anyway, I'm fighting what is a very shooting-heavy mercenary warband. And for some reason, it just seems like this map is the one I play against shooting-heavy warbands. But that's okay. I think the issues are overblown. I think you can compete against the shooting warbands. They're not as hardcore as people say they are. The big beef now currently, before it used to be black powder weapons, that's been balanced. Now it's just regular bows. And the thing that makes bows hard is that they can shoot a lot and you can reload for free. So even if you take a whole ton of shots, it doesn't slow down your movement any. You can do aim shots all you want because of the blue points, the strategy points, which you use for movement. You don't need to use any to reload. And so you can really get a hero going that can hammer off like 5 or 6 shots in a turn, and it can do a decent amount of damage. But as with a lot of other things in the game, there are counters. And if you're playing impressives, they're just big, fat targets. So this warband and this whole game I'm playing here is really just focused around getting the impressive into combat and protecting him from shooting. Now, what it looks like is we can already see the enemy on the little bridge ahead of me. You can see them on the mini-map here. So I don't want to expose myself yet and get chewed up because bows have a much longer range than these warp-lock pistols my rats have, and I don't want to overextend with these quick little night runners. So I'm just going to camp out here for a little bit and wait for the rest of the gang to catch up. The important move is going to be coming up soon here because the key to making an impressive work is team support, especially with the Skaven, because the Rat Ogre, as if you play the game knows, gets stupid, and everybody hates the Rat Ogre. I mean, everyone craps on him all the time because if he goes stupid, he misses his whole turn, and no other impressive really has that penalty. But like everything else, you can mitigate it. And the best way I do that is by having a little shepherd character. In this case, I'm going to be using my Grey Seer, the wizard, and he's basically built just to make the impressive get into combat. He can do a little stuff himself too, but his job is to keep the impressive going, protect him from shooting, and cast a few spells along the way. So speaking of which, if you saw in the beginning of the game, I cast Guidance, which is the ability the Grey Seer has to make him not go stupid. It's not necessarily needed here because there's a rune you can put on the helmet of the Rat Ogre that helps him not be stupid. The build I have now means he passes 94% of the time. So what I'm going to do here, instead of putting Guidance on him, since I'm going to rely on him just to pass normally, 94% chance, hopefully it works, I'm doing Scout's Advice, and that gives him a big bonus to his resistance to getting shot. The other thing I'm going to do is I know where those guys are, and to approach him is that narrow little passageway up there. So I'm casting a spell here called Mist, which actually is kind of used as mobile cover. Anyone standing in it is a lot harder to be hit. So if I stop my movement there, I've got all those anti-shooting bonuses on him. Hopefully it'll keep him alive, otherwise he could really get ripped apart with concentrated shooting. So we'll see how that works out in just a moment. Alright, and now big old stupid goes in, and then we begin to see the first part of my enemy's strategy. He's really got two aspects to it. The first one is bows on everybody. It's not such a big deal from a damage perspective, and you can see here where the buffs are working out as he keeps missing, because most of his guys aren't dedicated shooters. He's only got 3 archers. Everybody else just has a bow for what you're seeing right here. Stop people's movements, the Overwatch will stop them. I take 3 steps and I gotta stop. Take 3 steps and I gotta stop. It's really, really annoying. But since the benefit of having an impressive is you just focus all your bonuses and benefits on one dude, he can actually absorb all this shooting, and he's only taken a few hits. The other thing you might notice is the bow damage isn't really that much. If you look on the left, you're going to see a buff called, or debuff I should say, called Rune of Misfortune. It's something you can put on all of your weapons, and every time you hit, it increases the target's chances of taking a critical hit. And that can keep stacking and stacking and stacking. So he's forsaking front-end damage for this stacking crits, and the crits can be really, really bad. But, it's a valid strategy, and so I end my turn. I can't reach him, which would be great, so I run back into the mist to take cover, and that gives me a good benefit to my range resistance. So, now I'm standing right in front of him, though, right in front of all of his archers, so we're going to see if it works out. So far, so good. He's going to miss. Let's hopefully he keeps on missing. You also notice that he's buffing the guy in the end, which is pretty smart, because that guy in the end is going to be taking the brunt of my Rat Ogre next turn if he doesn't kill me. And as hard it is for him to shoot, you notice he has to use aim shots and things like that, because my resistance is really high. So people who say you can't do anything about range, it's so powerful. Sorry, dude, you're doing it wrong. Look at this. Guy can't hit me most of the time. And he does a smart thing there and takes an Overwatch stance. If he can't really hit me, he could still slow me down. But at this range, that guy, I would rather be shooting anyway, hoping for the damage. But it isn't a foolproof plan. If you look in the upper right, you can see the chances he's got to hit and crit. So, that much volume of shooting, he's eventually going to get through. And that big crit is bad news, because that also increases now my chances of being shot. But still, he's still missing me. So the Scout's advice and the mist and his base stats are working out pretty well. But one thing that's going to suck here is his wizards. So he's going to sit here and he's going to cast spells on me. But hey, the big Rat Ogre, he can dish out some damage and he can take it. And his job really is to be a target, while the enemy is focusing everything on him that hopefully will allow the rest of my guys to close the range. So goes the theory. We'll find out. Most of these buffs are reducing my armor, which isn't really that great anyway, but since he's using that Misfortune rune, he's got no armor penetration runes. So that's pretty good. The other one is going to slow me down, which is useful. Fireball, well, you know exactly what that is. I'm just glad he is not using lightning bolts. Fireball is obvious. I shouldn't even have to say this. You guys all know this. It's the area effect spell. But that's his main damage spell, so, that doesn't miss. You might fail to cast it, but he's not going to miss, so all that cover doesn't do me any good. So even though it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, it's still... I'm still taking hits. And, yeah, these aim shots are slowly going to get there. It still doesn't have excellent shots. I mean, he's got less than a 50-50 chance of hitting, even with aim shot, and even with me being stunned. So, the strategy so far is working out. And again, it's just a combination of the Skaven spells and skills. Good stuff. Still, the occasional shot's going to get through, and that Rune of Misfortune is really starting to stack up, so I might be taking more crits, and crits are just bad news. Take a lot of damage, and the debuffs it puts on you, making it harder for you to hit, are bad news. Anyway, I've got to bring in the rest of the support, because even with all those misses, he's going to get killed, and he still has more Overwatch left. More Overwatch! These guys, though, as you can tell by their armor, are much better off. And this guy is going to be another pincushion. He's going to get nailed a few times here, and he still looks like he got a little bit of bug. I think it's because there's just so much Overwatch. We got a little bit of jerkiness going on. But he's got a shield, too, so he's not that easy to hit. And it works out, too. So now I think I've finally cleared out all of his Overwatch between the Rat Ogre and that guy. So let's hope we can get these guys in. We have to. And the one benefit of the Skaven is their faster movement. And that's actually a really big advantage, because with the normal Warband, I wouldn't be able to reach combat here. And my Rat Ogre would be hanging out by himself. But here, I have just enough distance to get in and start clobbering these guys in close combat. He's got his bow out, so advantage wrecked for the time being. Now, as far as the build goes, my 5 henchmen are all Warp Guards. Since I have it's a very focused warband, my shooting is with the 2 Night Runners, so all my henchmen are just Warp Guard. They're just straight up warrior class. 3 of them are built with spears and shield. They're very survivable, they're very tough, and they don't do that much damage. But that's okay, they're just there to tie people up, soak hits, and do support. Skaven have a skill called Swarm, where if your guy's in combat with another buddy, he gets benefits. So really, those guys that are just to provide swarm bonuses to my heavy hitter. There's another crit. Even though that guy's not a dedicated shooter, it doesn't matter. With all these runes of misfortune, I'm going to be taking crits. So, solid plan on my opponent's part, and it's really starting to add up. I mean, my guy's probably half dead at this point. But if I didn't have all these anti-shooting stuff, my guy would already be dead. And now we start to see how he's equipped for close combat. His non-archers all are going to have spears and shield. So they're going to be tough to hit, and although they're not going to do a lot of damage, and as you see here, this guy's just missing against my defensive dude, they're going to do consistent damage, and still those runes of misfortunes on everybody. So eventually we're just going to take so many crits. Alright, first that guy's going to pop some drugs, and now he's going to lay into me. This is the champion. Champions already have really nice base crit. So coupled with the Rune of Misfortune, which gives, a bonus to every time he He's also got a skill called Fatality, which gives him even more crit. So these guys are going to get really, really nasty crit rates. And my line guys here, these guys with the shield, they're very crit resistant. So we'll see how well it works to see if it can actually last. Palling on my poor little rat. Ugh. But still, 17 damage, I can take that shit all day. I have over 300 health. Till he crits me for 62. And if you don't know it, once your guy's stunned, like I mentioned before, range shots have a bonus to hit you. Melee automatically hits you. And on top of that, you get a bonus to crit. So this is incredible synergy here. All his skills and his runes work to get more crits. And then when you finally crit and stun the guy, you get even more crit. So it's not just 17 damage a hit. Instead of taking like 18 hits to kill me, if he's starting to get crits like that, it's going to take a lot less, because crits go through armor and get a little bit of a damage buff. Anyway, my last two warp guards, they're actually a lighter version of what I usually do with my heroes, the Black Skaven, which are like champion equivalents. These guys are using two-handers with charge builds. I screw up actually this entire game. It's defaulting to normal charge. These guys have a skill called Mighty Charge, which lets them hit even harder. And I'm just not using it. I noticed that in hindsight. But, you know, that's okay. These guys are not quite glass cannons. They have heavy armor too. I've gone back and forth between different types of armor. I kind of like it the way it is, since they have no real defense as far as avoiding taking hits. The armor comes in really handy. And you saw there, the guy did 100 damage, while my little spear guys are lucky to do 40 against these same things. So I'm trying to get some good charges off, trying to double charge if possible. I can't get the double charge to go, so I got to split my damage, which is kind of bad news. Even though I'm doing some decent damage now, these champions, if I'm not charging, I don't do nearly as much damage. You see, the first hit does 65, second hit does 40. But still, 100 damage each is a good start. Alright, now we're back to the wizard. First things first, he's got to go do some spell support. And Sorcerer's Curse is one of my favorite spells. It makes it a lot harder for the enemy to parry or dodge, and the other thing it does is it reduces their armor, which is huge. Anyone not an archer or a wizard has heavy armor on, so they actually do really, really hard to hurt. So the first thing I do is I go after his champions. I've already got 100 damage on each. They have like a little over 300 health. So without any armor, they're going to go down super, super fast. I mean, they already have 50 armor. Or I should say 50% armor. The weapons my guys are using take away 20% of that, so they're still shrugging off a third of the damage. With the combination of the runes and with that spell, they're going to be taking 100% damage. They're going to go down really, really quick, and that's my hope. I have gotten a few complaints about my mic, which is really annoying. Previously, I had a cheap desktop mic, and for some reason that sounded way better than this expensive headset I got. So yeah, before the next video, I'll probably invest in a better mic. And anyway, before I end my guy's turn, I put another Scout's Advice on my dude. I don't want him getting pin-cushioned. He's already half dead. Enough is enough. Cool. Here's a slick move on my opponent's part. Now, you saw me cast that Sorcerer's Curse on his two heavy hitters. What he's going to do now is bring down his wizard here and cast a spell. And that just wipes out the debuffs I put. So all that work my sorcerer did is just completely canceled out now. Great move on my opponent's part. Now he's going to add it up here. Armor Lead is going to slow everybody down, but that's actually kind of useless because my dude's already in combat. I ain't going nowhere. Blinding Light is a little bit more bad news. That's going to make it much harder for me to hit and to defend myself. So that was a good move. Introspection, you've probably seen that before, lets you get a little bit more speed. And fortunately for me, he starts to fail some spellcaster on my wizard. Yay! Talisman gives him magic resistance. But it's not like I'm going to be casting an armor spell on that dude. He's just wearing a robe. I mean, come on. I don't care about kimonos. The other dude is smart, though. He's going to stay up there. It's a great spot. Now, a little bit of information about this match. My opponent is just camping his starting zone. Not going to complain about it. That's a totally valid strat. Whatever. He wants to practice with a range warband. It's good. He also set it so there's no backtrack. So if you make a mistake on movement, you can't back up. So that's fine. I actually considered this when I saw that in the lobby. I was like, you know what? This is fine. This is going to be a great challenge. This lets me see if I can really defeat a range warband. I mean, he picked the battle. He's in a great defensive spot, and he's made it so the aggressor can't make a single mistake. So I got my work cut out for me here. Hopefully we can pull it off. Alright, so now it's my turn. And I really love these little Night Runners. Their job is close-range fire support. They have a secondary ability of combining some skills and some poison to really nullify the enemy's attack. You can really drain all their offensive power. Or you can do what I'm going to do here and just blast the hell out of somebody as rapidly as possible. And he left his wizard down on the ground. So you know what? You dead, man. These wizards are annoying. They're very useful. I can't have them. So I'm just going to focus both of my heroes. They're going to spend all their shooting on his wizard. And that should take care of him in short order. Hey, and now it's my turn to get some crits, you bastard. See how you like it. $69, dude. Gotta love those 95% chance misses. Anyway, still got one shot left, so hopefully we can finish this prick off. I mean, his massive 3 health left. There we go. Alright, so first blood to the Skaven. Not too bad. I bet my opponent wasn't expecting that. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, one thing I noticed about my opponent is that he did not put a lot of points into leadership. Leadership is what determines your bravery, basically. So you can be very, very susceptible to all alone checks and other things like that. Anyway, I apologize for the frame rate dive here. That happens sometimes with fraps. It'll clear up in a minute anyway. Alright, but now my ogre finally gets back into the action. And this guy's got nowhere to run. He's actually trapped on that road because all of his buddies are in the way. So now it's time for the Rat Ogre to finally get a chance. Well, I'm pausing here and I'm looking because my build I've got here uses Daredevil, which is a skill that dramatically increases the damage you can do. But it's got some trade-offs, one of which is that your enemy gets a free dodge. So what I'm going to do here is try and determine whether or not it's worth it, because these guys have decent agility. And after doing the math, I decided, you know what, I can do it. One reason why is because a great Skaven only a skill called Black Hunger. Not only does it increase your damage, but it also reduces your enemy's chance to dodge and parry, sort of like Sorcerer's Curse. So you can see kind of like some synergies here with the Skaven. Trade-off is, of course, is that you take a little bit of damage. But hey, when I'm doing over 120 damage a hit, I can take that. Unfortunately, I don't get a third swing because of the stun. So maybe it wasn't the best idea, but I think it worked out. I think I actually end up doing a little bit more damage. And their Death Stance is what I was talking about. Since he's no longer in the cloud, he's got that to help protect him, and he's in combat, so he's still going to be super hard to hit. So I basically just completely negated my enemy shooting advantage. Back to this poor guy. He's just getting clobbered. I think that's the 3rd crit he's taken. Ugh. Even these low damage, not 4 crits now, even those low damage spears can do plenty when you finally get the crits off. So that's a really good combination on my opponent's part. But the plan works out here, you see? He invested too much in other stats. He did not put the leadership up, so now this guy can't attack. It's too congested for him to actually run, so he's just going to stay there. But hey, I just negated all that guy's attacks for a turn. Totally worth it, even though I'm probably going to lose that Night Runner. That's fine. I'm just buying some time. This guy's stuck. Doesn't know where to go, and he doesn't have any good shots. So I'm going to delay. That's probably the good move. This guy's going to delay too. This guy obviously doesn't like any of the shots he's got, and so what he's going to do is run over there and he's going to switch weapons. And here, if you notice, he's switching to a blunderbuss, which is like a shotgun, basically. Which means these guys don't have close combat weapons. So if you can get them in close combat, they can't do a thing. It's nice flexibility for shooting, but it leaves you at a significant disadvantage. And as you can see, that once you get the grips with his shooters, they're dead meat. All right, now it's the Netrunner's time to take some pounding from his leader. So this is going to be ugly. This guy doesn't have as much armor, so you can see he's taking from 30 to 40 damage rather than like 17. So armor's still pretty freaking good. Don't listen to anybody who tells you otherwise. And there he goes. He's healing the champion next to him, actually, which is bad news. That's the guy I did a lot of damage to already. That sucks. Yeah, that investment in defensive skills and melee resistance is really paying off for my little infantry. Getting a lot of misses, which is nice. But he's about to go shotgun me again. Ugh, bad news. It's alright though, these guys are going down soon. Mr. Oga is going to have a few words to say with these guys. Especially if he misses. You know, that's mostly due to the penalty of shooting into combat, thankfully. And that guy can't do nothing. He's kind of boxed in, can't run, so he's going to try and dodge, but that ain't going to work against the Rat Ogre with his Black Hunger. And there you see a problem with delay. It's probably a bug, but if you delay too many times in a row, you really just run out of time. Basically, when the guy you delayed goes again, he's stuck with the timer left of the person before him. So if you drag out your turns and you delay too much, it can really come back to bite you. It's probably a bug. I think everyone should have an independent timer, but, you know, just be careful. If you delay too much, you can just bite yourself in the ass. And speaking of getting bitten in the ass, Mr. I've got no melee weapons is getting bit in the ass right here. Do a hell of a lot more damage to a guy in cloth, isn't that for sure? Now I'm also cramming him in, boxing him in. He's really not going to be able to withdraw. This is a big pile. Actually, I kind of like that, because one of the spells my sorcerer has is Warp Lightning, and I'm hoping to get some really good use out of it. And I'm gonna be working the all alone. There's no reason to fight one-on-one. If I can get two guys on one, and with his crappy leadership, he may not get any attacks. But his Web of Steel sure is working out. That's annoying. Ugh, not in the face! Alright, so this guy's going to pop Black Hunger to make it harder to parry. But it doesn't really help you too much when you miss. That's more like it. Yeah, do little drugs. Yeah, that parry's not going to be really worth much. And it's one problem with my build. These guys take a lot of damage from their skills. But hey, they can dish out a lot of damage. They're really just there to support the little infantry guys who have the shield. So we got to kill these guys as quickly as possible. It's not really working out. His champions are being a real pain in the ass. One thing that's good here though is his skill insult. Basically yell at the guy, "Yo mama!" And now you've noticed this guy's got a 95% chance to hit, which before he had less. So let's give this guy a working. Yep, no parry for you, bastard. Not doing as much damage now. That's bad news, because one thing he's been doing is the Mandrake root improves your armor, and these guys already have pretty high armor to begin with. In fact, that's basically his MO here. His guys for defense are really focused on that. Now, speaking about Warp Lightning, right? Oh yeah. First thing first, though, is the guy that's facing my Rat Ogre is almost dead. I want to get rid of him so that way the Rat Ogre does full damage to somebody else. And get used to this, because you're going to be seeing a lot of failed casts. What's really annoying here is that cast failed by just the amount of the spell that he put on me. Both these casts, actually. I need, normally it's an 80% chance. I'm down to 75 because of his Blinding Flash. And both of those spells failed by less than 5%. Ugh, so that spell just worked out. And at insult to injury, I failed to jump down. So, waste of a turn completely on this guy's part. But before I go, I do manage to at least buff my Rat Ogre one more time. I have to move over to get him in the line of sight first, but I do that. little view of the map, we have him surrounded. Now we just gotta get the pounded part in. Damn it. Well, at least I'm on the outside, so he's only going to be able to get 2, maybe 3 guys at most. If I was the guy in the circle, I'd be getting everybody hit at once. That damage is going to add up pretty quick. But at least I'm not the only one filling the cast. In fact, that's going to be kind of a theme for both of our wizards this game. Alright, unfortunately that dude could not withdraw, so I end up having to switch to my claws, and you can see how much damage he does. 16%, 21. On the bright side, I'm burning that guy's parries a little bit. But yeah, I'd much rather be able to disengage this dude. He's not meant for close combat. But hey, you know, every failed all-alone test makes it worth it. And if he dies, these guys have no leadership. I really don't care. It takes almost none of my morale away. Anyway, back to trying to finish off this last guy, so. A little bit of overkill, but it's less overkill than it would be for the Rat Ogre, who does like 130 damage, so. Finish that dude off. Now it's time to do a little bit more damage if I can. Oh, so many choices, so many choices. Who to shoot? That guy! Kill those archers, are the easiest target first. And miss. Damn it. No cheese for you. Well, isn't that the cat's pants? Freaking invisible wall in the way. So after laughing at myself and frustratingly running into the wall, send him all the way around the flank. Luckily, he's got enough movement to make it work. That could have been really, really bad. So yeah, I had to bug report that, let me tell you. Freaking code monkeys. Visible walls. Doesn't bother henchmen, but it seemed like the impressive is too big. Alright, but now we've got him in the rear. Oh, yeah! Just where the Rat Ogre likes it. So I spend a little bit of time trying to decide what to do. And that's what we do. Little Black Hunger, and then we just start the pounding. Good old misclick, target the wrong guy. Good job there, Stymie Jackson, you get. But that's alright. There's our next guy dead. Now I get the crit. Alright, so the Rat Ogre's gotten 2 kills, and now he's pounding on his 3rd target. Yum yum. All alone, baby. See what I'm saying? Punishing that guy. He's only got like a 36% chance of passing. So that's just not enough leadership on your heavy hitters like that. Sure, I'm probably losing some attacks, but I'll give up an attack or 2 to force an all-alone test any day. And that could be a game changer right there. He just lost all of his, both of his champions' attacks. A little more drugs. Oh yeah. Getting high. Why is it these guys are always stunned? Son of a bitch. That's okay, only 16 damage. That's not so okay. Another crit. Now this guy's drinking, he's doing drugs. What a freaking degenerate. One crit, 1 miss. And yeah, the Rune of Misfortune stacks for both range and melee crits. Oh, not good. Especially when you crit for 72 damage. Good old blunderbuss. Now he crits the other guy for 72 damage. And another rat bites the dust. Alright, on to his leader. That Drought of Clarity, I believe, prevents you from being stunned. Not that my build revolves around crit at all. You can do that with Skaven, but that's just not this setup. Oh, another rat bites the dust. Not a good turn. Looked good for me in the beginning. Looking less and less good as the round goes on. big stupid can't take many more of that, especially when I'm doing damage to myself with Black Hunger. But I do a lot more damage than he does, so I'll take it. Dodge stance isn't going to protect you. My opponent's smart, though. He doesn't use parry, because you cannot parry a Rat Ogre. They just ignore it completely. So dodge is his best bet. But dodge doesn't work too well against that Rat Ogre with this build. Doink. Yeah, so while it started off doing pretty well with damage on these guys, it's really starting to lag here. Between his parries, his good defense, and his ever-increasing armor. It's just, at first I thought I could take these champions down, but it's looking less and less likely. But that's okay. As long as they're not killing me too fast, my Rat Ogre can really just lay their hurt on, and I'm attacking his soft center in the back. Those archers are dropping like flies. Take out his henchmen. I still might be able to pull this off. Alright, on to round 5. Very, very close game. I'm slightly behind in morale, but hopefully we can tie that up here now. Especially with the way his guys are arced like that. I should be able to finally get a good Warp Lightning off, huh? You think? Yeah, I could at least get 3, including his leader. If I could cast that spell successfully. I think that's the 3rd failure in a row. So we'll go for something a little bit more sedate, and we'll go take out the guy's armor, hopefully. Fail again. Damn it. I tell you, this Gracer better not survive this game, because ye old warlord's gonna have some words to say for him. Traitorous little punk rat, Skaven, filthy rat bested. Anyway, no reason not to get this guy in close combat and tie him up. It's not like he can attack me. You ain't got no sword, brother. That shotgun ain't gonna do you too much good with a rat in your face, humping your leg. At least he's failing some spells too, that's good news. Ah, 2 failures. I'm not the only incompetent on this battlefield. Alright, now I decide to go for the action point decreasing abilities. Since I'm running out of rats to force all alone checks, I want to keep his offense down so I can pick off a few more dudes and win this game. Doesn't help though if you miss those shots. And now here seems to be a little bug. I think I tried to reload too quickly, because trying to do it during the exhaustion animation, and it's like I don't get the reload off, it just goes away. So just keep that in mind. If you use exhaustion, wait for that stupid little tired animation to wear off, because I just cost myself a shot. Alright, back to the Rat Ogre, who is almost dead. If you look at that, he's at 25 health, so I can no longer afford to do anything like exhaustion or Black Hunger. I'm just going to drop dead. In fact, anything happens, I'm going to drop dead. Next spell is most likely going to kill me, so on the bright side, hopefully I can kill this guy off. All those crits are really starting to pile up. I'm down to 66% chance to hit. But I do land the 2 out of the 3. And I'm trying desperately now to get to his leader, because I'm really worried about it. I lose this Rat Ogre, I'm in big trouble. I'm going to probably be taking morale tests. So, I was hoping to get into his leader. That would win me the game. But, you know, I'll settle for killing off that archer. Seriously, how much drugs does that guy have? My opinion is Adrenaline Rush is kind of a waste. You take 30 damage to do it, and unless you crit, you're not doing 30 damage back. He did 17. You're much better off getting a parry off and then using that leftover OP. Because when you parry, you can get a slightly easier attack. Doesn't take as many action points. So you can get that attack anyway with the parry. He's doing good at parrying. Ah, I love them free attacks. This time he had enough room to run away, and we almost killed him outright. So he won't be able to shoot since he ran away in a panic. And he's got nowhere to go. He's trapped in there. We got him surrounded. So you're going down soon, buddy. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Gonna kill you for the Gipper. Any of you kids, you probably don't even remember who the Gipper is. That's a shame on you. You're not knowing your American history. Yeah, and I realize not all of you people listening are American. Still, it's no excuse. Now, where in the hell did that trap come from? I mean, I've been sitting there the entire time, and it did not get triggered until then, and it kept me from disengaging. I had to do it twice, so I don't even have any action points left. But still, hoping for that lucky all-alone check. And he might even have enough room to run away and take some free hits. But Adrenaline Rush, and look at me taking my own advice. So, normally Adrenaline Rush with a two-hander is definitely worth it, but not when the guy parries it. So yeah, not so good for me so far, but we'll see what happens here. And for some reason, he does not take his all alone. I guess the other Skaven I've got is in base-to-base with somebody else. So that strategy didn't even work at all to force the all alone. So not only did I not do any damage, I took damage myself. I got poisoned. Yeah, it didn't work out. Well, one negative of that archer running away is now my Grey Seer is exposed, and he cannot take this. In 2 rounds, he's going to die. If he's taking 35 to 40 damage a hit from that spear, yeah, that's not good news. Yeah, and please, no homoerotic comments about taking spear thrusts to the face. This is a family game, damn it. He's using my own disengage strategy against me. Son of a bitch. Now I could start slowly taking away health from his leader, but I decided to go for the softer target, and I'd rather have the Rat Ogre doing it to the leader, if possible. And this guy's almost dead too, so hopefully I can finish him off, but I don't. So the Rat Ogre's gonna have to finish that guy off. Alright, round 6. I gotta force him to take a break test, or it is bad news for me. But this is a great shot. Please work, please work, please work! Yes! 4 hits, even a kill too. Now he's taking a break test, which is just in time. Because if he passes that break test, he's gonna kill my Rat Ogre next with a fireball. And then I'm taking break tests. And since I just failed Sorcerer's Curse again, I don't think I'd have enough damage to take out his leader. Which means if he passes his break test, he's going to take out my Rat Ogre, he's going to take out my leader, and it's game over. So please, please fail. Fail! 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 Ah, thank God. I really stole that win from my opponent. Great game, and I hope you all enjoyed it, guys. So, until next time, until I get a better mic, and hopefully I'll be more sober for the next recording, I will see you all in the city.